Right, today we're going to look at a camera raw filter. I'll give you a little idea of how that will work. So this is, yes, a selfie of me, and that was the selfie before the filter, and now that's the picture afterwards. Of course, when doing your GCSE or A-level photography, you can put this to much better use than editing a selfie. But let's have a look how we can do that now. So first things first, I'm going to delete that. And to start this, we're going to go to Filter, Camera, Raw, Filter. Take a step back even, duplicate your layer, select the layer, not the background layer, because then you can do more editing afterwards if you need to. Filter, Camera Raw Filter, and that's where we are. Now, the first thing I would suggest to do in here is lower your highlights quite a bit down. It adds to the effect later on. And I would then select where we're going to create our ray of light. We're going to do that with this tool, Graduated Filter. It takes a little bit of getting used to. Have a play around and see what works for you. You'll do this different every time. But I'm just going to start here and then you can have a go how you want to. So once you've placed it, the first one, you're going to lower the exposure right down. Some people, your pictures will work at the bottom, some a little bit further up. It depends what works for you. And then you can, if you want to move this around, you can do so by selecting there. We'll of course make that higher or lower. Then, to select that you've completed that, you select the little hand tool up here. We're going to do a second one, and we're going to create a sort of triangular beam of light. So I'm going to start that again and flip that. What I'm doing? Flip that round. There we go. See, it takes me some good going to get this one right. And then you can change the angle if you want to. I want to change it ever. I want to thicken it up a little. Oops. One day. Right, give over. Right, there we go. Sorry about that. It takes me a lot of getting used to, actually. Can I turn that just a little? Carefully does it. There we go. Again, lower the exposure. Perfect. Right, once you've done that, you can go back to the hand tool to select that you are happy with that. Right, what I would do at this point then now is I would increase my shadows, makes it a little darker, and the next thing we're going to do is select tone curve, which is here. Now, in tone curve, this affects your tones, like your lights and your darks, but you can also do that from a general light and dark perspective or through red, blue and green channels separately. We're going to start with them together. And bear in mind, some of you will start on parametric. You'll need to move into point. And you can grab each side and move it. Now I'm going to use this as a whole just to lighten the photo. And on this side, I'm just going to bring that down and darken it once more, a little more. I'm not sure if I like this. Again, this is one where you've really just got to do it how you personally find it visually, aesthetically pleasing. It's just something, as I say, you can play around with until you find a way that you personally like it. So I'm going to play around with this blue side as well. I don't mind a little tint of blue, but I don't want it totally blue. Okay, now it's a work in progress. It'll come together as you go along. So I'm going to go back to basic filters, I think, at this stage. And I think what I'd like to do maybe is increase my whites to bring out some lightness. I always feel it's got a slightly over, like a slightly cartooned effect by the time you finished with it, but or very idealistic in some way. So I'm going to increase my clarity. I don't want to do it too much, so then I think you start to get noise. I don't want noise as such, but I'd like increased clarity. I like it around there. Next thing, we'll look at maybe split tone in here, which is the white and black bar. Here you can play with hues and saturation. I'm going to play around with that now. Maybe play with balance. Lighter. As you can see. I do like it slightly increased actually. Oh no. Okay. Maybe at this point, I might turn down the black actually. A little, maybe that will help. Okay. And really, I mean, you can go in any direction you wanted. If you wanted a particular sort of light, and if you wanted a bit greenier or a bit bluier, you can absolutely do that with these photos using this filter. So what I'd say this time is have a play around, try different options. Try playing around with these and see what you like. I'll leave that there. And work out something that works for you. The last tool I want to show you on here is the Select Adjustment tool, which is this little brush here. Now with this, what you need to make sure is that Auto Mask is deselected, and you want to obviously find an appropriate brush size, 6, 7, 8 for most photographs, no more than that. And with this you can, in a very soft way, increase court lighting, etc. on photographs. So for example, the light's coming in from this angle, so you can look at areas that may want to capture additional light, and you can pop that light in. That's an example of where my exposure perhaps is too high and my brush a little large. Let's bring that down a little, and I can start to bring out where the light, not that much, where the light is catching my face and maybe my clothes, shoulder, Naomi's shoulder here where the light's coming down, and maybe bits of her hair, bits of my own hair where the light is catching it. I can go over sections. Sometimes it can smooth out areas of skin that as well, which is quite useful. Maybe this cheek, this brow, and so you can start to select areas, as I say, and make them capture the light more. Even these sort of areas of the jumper or of the seatbelt. Perfect. So then once you're happy with everything you've selected, you quite simply, it's like the hand tool, it sort of selects it for you so you can move around, play with these areas again if you want to. Move up those blacks. Right. I'm happy with that anyway. So then at that point, press OK, commit to your changes, and you can see the difference you've created. Much more interesting dynamic lighting, and I'd like to think, looking at that as well, a more smoothed, interesting looking image. So that's one for you to have a play around with, and want to consider perhaps in most of your work that you do, like most of the pictures that you edit. Fantastic, hope you enjoyed that, and hope your pictures look awesome.